it's kind of like you do a kind of reflection on your life and you say, I've always wanted to do this certain thing, or I've always wanted to go to certain places and do things. And then you get a diagnosis that at first seems very, scary. And so it kind of makes you think back and go, well, instead of just saying these things, why don't I go out and actually do them?
Welcome to Thrivin in the Wild. I'm Taylor Stern. I'm sharing what happens when you step into your vulnerability, face the hard things, celebrate your journey, and giving you your weekly reminder that no one has it all figured out. It's time to thrive. Let's go. Welcome into today's episode. If you are just joining us, I hope that you go ahead and also listen to the 30 episodes we've had before this one, because today, episode 31, is actually the season finale of season 1. And it is such an honor to me to think that we are through one season. I'm so excited for what is ahead with season 2. We have some really great ideas. We have some really big projects we're working on. Just lots of goodies for you in store. So stay tuned to that. But yes, through one season. And it's so funny because I remember when I first came up with this idea that I had wanted to start a podcast. I'd known that I wanted something that could be both a resource and a community to people whenever they needed that inspiration to keep going, to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And through this podcast, I feel like I've been able to meet and connect with so many wonderful people. I've been able to learn from, individuals I never thought I'd talk to, that being people like Shawn Johnson, an Olympic gold medalist, one of my favorite poets ever in Morgan Harper Nichols, and talking to different athletes like Solomon Thomas. It's just so interesting to see how everyone is thriving in their own wilds. I think I've learned now there's one thing that's guaranteed for all of us. We will encounter obstacles and we will have different adversities. But how we react to that really defines who we are. And that's what thriving is to me. Last year in 2020, so many of us got into a survival mode. And that's fair for what we were all dealing with. But when you can learn to thrive, there becomes this beauty and this elegance and this I don't want to say euphoria because it's still challenging, but when you are thriving, you are performing at your highest self. And I think we all have the ability to do that, but it just takes some learning and some growing and a lot of confidence and faith. And that is what we have talked about all season long, giving you different examples of how people have done that in different wilds of their life. And today's guest is the best guest, in my opinion. And yes, I might be biased because he is my dad, Jonnyboy. But Jonnyboy is really the epitome of thriving to me. When we first shared our first episode for launch week, that would have been the November 17th week, Jonnyboy had just recently been diagnosed with leukemia. And to be totally honest, when I first heard that news, I was broken. I remember he called me, and he is the most calm, rational person ever. And he called me and he said, "Hey, look, just want to let you know, I just got my blood work back and they're a little bit concerned about the white blood cells." And you don't know what it really means. And I feel very fortunate that we have not had to deal with much, health scares or anything to do with cancer at all. And so when he said that, I just broke down. I remember I kind of stayed strong on the call and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, just keep me posted." It was kind of a defense mechanism, like, "All right, gotta let you go. Okay, let me," I didn't ask too many questions. And then I hung up and I broke down. I just bawled. And I had texted one of my girlfriends who I knew had a parent who dealt with cancer. And, I go, "What do you do? What do you say?" And she's like, "Oh no, I don't like this text." And I'm very grateful to say that that's not even something on my mind anymore. We are past the fear. We are comfortable with this uncomfortable situation of cancer. And that's what thriving in the wild means to me. Now, you might listen to me talk to him at first and think, "Wow, she's a little insensitive." But no, my coping mechanism is humor. And to cope is to grow. And I think coping also is a part of thriving, because life is hard at times and the challenges, they are real, and learning how you can handle it and how you can survive is all part of how you thrive. I really believe that now. I think that having that understanding that I will make it through, I will get through, and I'm going to do the best I can, and that's thriving. So whatever you're going through right now, whatever adversity you're facing, you can do it. You can keep pushing forward. You have everything inside of you. I promise you that. And if you need any inspiration at any time, please listen to any of these episodes, because I'm very proud to say we have done a great job of showing you what thriving looks like in different wilds. Now, as always, please go ahead and subscribe so you can stay tuned when season 2 will be coming. Go ahead and follow us on all socials. We are mainly on Instagram and Twitter, but we do have a private Facebook group if you enjoy that as well. But I really want this to be a place where you never feel like you're alone. And most importantly, you realize that no one has it all figured out. And even when you think you have it figured out, life usually humbles you pretty well. So we are here for you. We are excited for what's ahead. And Jonnyboy has a special message for Dax Shepard. And if you so care to also reach out to Dax Shepard and just share this message with him, that would be highly appreciated. And if you've ever wondered what it's like to land at Area 51, we have a story for you with that. And if you're a parent and you're looking to see how your kids could still believe in Santa Claus, Jonnyboy has a great story of how he tricked Alex and I into thinking Santa was real for at least another year. So it's a very entertaining episode, and we hope it leaves you with joy and laughter, seeing that we can thrive in this wild. Check it out.
It's Thriving in the Wild with Taylor Stern.
And who else?
And Jonnyboy, or just me, Johnny, or Jonathan, either one.
Do you like the nickname Jonnyboy?
It's fine. It's fine. I like it.
All right, welcome in to another episode of the Thrivin' in the Wild podcast, and episode 31, actually.
Episode 31. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well done.
First week, we had a very special guest, fan favorite, if you would, and he joins us again for the season finale.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I feel very honored to be here for the season finale.
I haven't introduced you yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet then.
You don't have to be quiet, but I wanted to give you a proper introduction.
Okay, then.
Yeah, the proper introduction is we have Jonnyboy Stern joining us today for just a candid conversation, life wisdom, how you're thriving in this wild of your life these days. You literally got an RV to go out thriving in the wild.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We haven't had a chance to actually take it out for
intro.
the shakedown cruise yet, but that's coming up in April. So
yes, so Jonnyboy is back. When you joined us back in October, it was for the basic kind of understanding of your diagnosis with cancer. I almost said young money cancer. That felt wrong.
With the what?
I almost said young money cancer. With cancer.
No.
It is. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the CLL, or the chronic lymphocytic leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was kind of a shocker of a diagnosis when they came out and told me about that. But we learned that it's not as, I guess you would call it not as intense a diagnosis as you would normally get with cancer. As we had talked about on the previous one, there's like five different variables of the leukemia spectrum. And it seems that I'm on the far end of the, I guess you could say, the good side of the spectrum, in the sense that the cells are not as invasive and destructive to the organs. So unless my white blood cell count rises above a certain number, I am currently not having to do any kind of treatment, which is a blessing.
It's a positive prognosis.
It is. I mean, as positive as you can get for a cancer diagnosis, in the sense that the treatment is very minimal at this point until my white cell count goes above a certain number, or if I start, having symptoms. Yeah. And currently the doctor said that I should be coming in about every 4 months for a blood test. And as long as I'm stable, I don't really need any treatment. Now, if it does get to the point where I will need treatment, the treatments have come quite a ways from, even 15 years ago. Whereas, a few years ago, they would have been requiring chemotherapy, and for the really bad cases, maybe even a bone marrow transplant to try to rid your body of the bad cells. But now there's targeted therapies that go after the individual characteristics of the cancer cells. So yeah, that's where it's sitting right now. So as long as I stay stable and I'm taking the blood tests every 4 months, I'm good to go.
You're good to go. That's great news. We're all very happy with that. Because last time when you joined, really, we didn't know much and we were very scared and we lived in this constant fear. But now we're out of that.
Right.
We feel much better.
Yeah, we've got a better understanding of what's going on.
Yes, if I sound inconsiderate or insensitive is probably the better word. It's just because humor is my coping mechanism. It makes me feel better to make a joke of it.
Right. And I guess you could say that's my coping mechanism too.
Is it?
It is.
I don't know if I know that necessarily.
You haven't heard any dad jokes coming at you, or
is that because you're deep in pain and you're just making dad jokes to make it all better?
Probably.
At the end, you're just going to be making dad jokes?
That's it. That's all I'm going to be doing.
Do you have any good ones right now?
Oh, goodness. I had one. I can't remember what it was.
Why do you think dad jokes are so funny?
Well, I think that they're so immature. They're just so basic. I don't know why. And dads are like, hey, that's how we roll.
It is how you roll. But you're rolling good with cancer now. And we're very happy, I guess is a weird word to say for that, but
kind of relieved.
Relieved is a better word. Relieved is a better word, yes. Yeah. We're all very relieved. And, everyone has been so kind to ask about you, but he is doing good and he is thriving in this wild of cancer, which is weird to say, but you are. And the other thing is that now you are rolling with your RV. So tell me about that. You get the diagnosis and it kind of seemed like you had a little mini midlife crisis.
Well, I wouldn't call it a midlife crisis. I think it's kind of like you do a kind of reflection on your life and you say, I've always wanted to do this certain thing, or I've always wanted to go to certain places and do things. And then you get a diagnosis that at first seems very, scary. And so it kind of makes you think back and go, well, instead of just saying these things, why don't I go out and actually do them? Because you never know how much time you have left and when, whether you can actually do them or not. Mm-hmm. So, we've always wanted to have an RV. We've looked at them over the years.
What was first?
The what?
What was first?
Well, the truck was first.
The truck was first.
I've always wanted a truck.
That felt a little impulsive.
No, I've been talking to Leslie about that, and I've always wanted a truck. And it just seemed like the right time to get it because we were talking about an RV, more specifically a travel trailer or a bumper pull. And I said, well, we obviously can't get one with our SUV because it's not strong enough to pull it. So I said, well, I'm going to have to get a truck.
I mean, it's the only option here.
It was the only thing left to do. Yeah. It was all we could do. So
just in a pinch.
In a pinch. It was like, oh God, we got to get a truck. How are we going to survive if we don't have a truck?
It's horrible.
And
don't mean it like that.
And so I went out looking, and it was actually the very first place I stopped. And I went in there and just said, hey, do you have any used, trucks that I could take a look at? And he said, yeah, sure. And so we were walking around, and this blue one just kind of appeared out of the fog.
Wow, manifested in
front of me. And I said,
just absolutely formed.
And there was these, the harp was playing in the background, and you could hear the chorus going,
hallelujah.
And it said, I'm your truck.
And you got the truck.
And I looked at it and said, that's a good looking truck. And, it was a used truck. It had a lot of miles on it, but it fit for what we needed. And it looked really good, and it was in great shape.
It has a lot of miles on it?
Well, I mean, it's...
Concerns me.
No, it's okay.
I
did get an extended warranty,
so
we're covered there.
Good.
Yeah. But no, it's a great truck. It's been driving like a tank. And it's going to be fun to pull the trailer with it.
So then came the RV.
And then came the RV, because then we said, well, we have a truck, we must have an RV.
It was very tandem. Yep.
It was. And like I said, we've been looking at RVs, and actually at first we were looking at Class A motorhomes, the ones where, it's basically, a truck with the RV built into it. And we said, this is a little too much for us. So we said, well, let's go back to the travel trailer so that we basically have a vehicle when we get to the campsite.
Makes perfect sense.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You detach the trailer, and then you've got the truck, and you can go drive around if you want to, or not.
What's your favorite feature of it so far?
It just has a lot of room inside, and it basically is, it's very comfortable for us. It has everything we need, and it has enough room if we want to bring people with us. And we like the bunk beds in the back. So
I do too.
If the girls want to come,
fan.
you got a place to sleep back
Thank
there.
you.
And we don't have to basically tear apart the dinette or the couch to make another bed. It's ready to go.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Now, where are you guys going to go?
The first place we're going to go to is a place called Tiger Run RV Resort in Breckenridge, Colorado. And we're going to check that out. It's looks like a great place. It has lots, it's got full hookups. We're not that into
This is the
roughing
christening ride. That's what they
it
call
is.
it.
It's the shakedown. Yep. It's the initial shakedown cruise to kind of make sure that everything's going according to plan, that we know what to do, that we've understood the different components of the trailer and how to hook things up, how to get everything working properly, and make sure there's nothing that's going to surprise us down the road.
I like it. Now, and other places that you have planned?
We'd really like to go to Mount Rushmore in South Dakota and go check that out. The last time I was in Mount Rushmore, literally I was 7 years old. And it was, seeing it from the back of a Mercury station wagon, the ones with the wood on the sides.
I don't know what the ones those are.
Yeah, most people wouldn't know what those things are, but that was the SUV of our time.
That was an SUV?
No, not really. It was a station wagon, but it was the only thing you had other than maybe an International Harvester or maybe a Jeep Cherokee or some kind of a Jeep Wagoneer. I think they had those back then, but no, that's what everybody drove. They weren't all-wheel. We didn't even know what all-wheel drive was. Yeah. And, you were just, those were the cross-country machines you'd get in and drive.
It's pretty crazy to think of that.
Yeah, I remember, was it Christmas Vacation, the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase? That's, the green car he drove was a station wagon.
Yeah. Now, I think, there's one person that you've always wanted to meet. He now owns a motorhome as well.
This is true.
So, maybe just your official invite to this person, see if they'll listen in and just hear what you have to offer.
Dax Shepard. He is the man, and he has got a beast of a machine. He's got a Class A motorhome that I am dying to see, and I'd be happy to go on a road trip with him just to, break it in.
I think that's kind.
Really check it out. We could, go hit a couple of places, and see how his Class A motorhome, his home away from home, works, and really and share our details with the world.
What it sounded like is that he basically sits in it in the garage.
He does,
or out in the parking lot.
I don't want to
driveway.
I don't want to talk disparagingly about the man, but I think he may be a little bit afraid to take it on the road.
Well, I don't know if he's afraid or if he's not. He doesn't want to go alone.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think that is probably a better idea of what's going on there, because you don't want to.
No
RV is not to be taken alone. It's a it's not a community, but it's a way to share your experiences and just basically life's moments. Absolutely.
So what would you have to offer him if he said, all right, Jonnyboy, come along, we're gonna go on a road trip in my Class A motorhome?
Well,
just a pitch to Dax why he should take you on this trip.
Dax, I'm a pilot. And as a pilot, I'm used to handling machinery, large machinery, expensive machinery. And I think I could help you as far as, understanding the nuances of driving this amazing machine across the United States and getting the most out of it, of course.
Of course.
So, there's that.
There's that. And, laughter along the way.
Of course.
You really love a good snack.
Oh, snacks, did you say?
Yeah, snacks.
That's
You'll take care of those.
When you stop, and we may have to stop at a Buc-ee's.
Oh, He just discovered the
I
Buc-ee's. So
discovered
for
these-
anyone listening in
In
Texas.
fact, I've got to tell you, when I was flying into Dallas, we were flying into Dallas last week. We flew over the exact one that we stopped
Were you
at.
so pumped?
I said, there's Buc-ee's right there.
Now tell us about the cockpit, the inner workings of the cockpit. I think that is something that's very fascinating for people because nowadays you can't really see it. You can't go in. I remember when I was younger, we had plenty of photos inside of it. You could kind of look inside.
You know, that's yes and no. You can, before you take off, you're more than welcome to come up to the cockpit.
Nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah.
More than welcome.
More than welcome to come up, talk to the pilots, you know, and see what it looks like up there. You can kind of get an idea of what we see out of the windows. And it's a great opportunity if you have any kind of, anxiety about flying and you're kind of unsure of what goes on. Come up there and ask us. And, you know, you can sit in the seats. You can see the controls. You can see what we do on a daily basis. And it may help you to, you know, feel a little bit less, concerned about flying.
Yeah. Now, you know, what is it like being in there while you're in flight? Is it basically just a video game?
Yeah, kind of a video game. I mean, there's a lot of buttons. You've got to understand what's basically you're monitoring the systems. You're making sure the navigation system is taking you where you want to go. You have to, you know, everything is very precise. You have to be at your altitude. You have to be on your airspeed, and you have to be going in the direction that you're supposed to be going, basically. And but air traffic control is monitoring what's going on, and you know they take a look at it, and they can tell you, you know, if something is not the way it's supposed to, they're going to talk to you and ask you what's happening.
Craziest travel story.
Oh my goodness!
You were the pilot.
Let's see what happened. We were flying. I think it was through a area of clouds. Now we weren't, you know, obviously we're not going to ever go through a thunderstorm. That's definitely something you're going to avoid at all costs. You'll fly around them. You won't even take off if they're over the field.
If you fly around them, usually that's how you kind of have a delay or something.
It may take you longer to get to a certain destination. You know, you say, hey, we can't go the route we were planning on going because of this particular storm system that's in front of us. So we're going to be going a different way. But you never want to fly through those because they just can do all sorts of damage to the aircraft and just make your flight just very, very unenjoyable. So we were going through some clouds that were not necessarily storms by any means, but just clouds. And the clouds can cause a lot of static electricity on the outside of the aircraft. And that's where you get this thing. It's called St. Elmo's fire.
No, I've heard of that. Isn't that a movie?
Yeah, it was a movie, but it's, you know, obviously, what's his name? Rob Lowe is not in the cockpit with us flying.
Oh, it was a pilot movie. I haven't seen this movie.
No, it's not a pilot movie.
Like...
Not by any means. It's about college students in, I think, the East, but at a bar called St. Elmo's Fire.
No, but this is what they call that when it's in the
and it was originally, I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe the term came from the sailors when they would be sailing across the Atlantic or in large bodies of water, and they would go through, clouds or storms. The static on the rigging on the sails up, in the upper portion of the sails, would cause the static electricity to kind of, you'd get these electrical effects that would look like, fingers of electricity traveling up and down.
They've shown that in movies before and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what happens on the front of the aircraft. As you're going through these clouds, the static electricity builds up and you get kind of a little light show. Very harmless, doesn't do anything to the aircraft. Well, I guess it built up enough where this was back in the days, we were flying.
What year would this have been?
This would probably be in, 98.
98. Early flying days for you. Commercial airlines.
Right. And it just, you could just see the fingers of the St. Elmo's fire going across the front of the aircraft. It was pretty exciting.
You have passengers on the plane?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Always have passengers on the plane.
But it is so funny because we've talked about it before. Everyone who's always scared of flying, they're like, oh gosh, I'm so scared. And you're like, I don't want to crash either.
I think a lot of people are afraid of flying simply because what is it when you're flying? You can't see where you're going.
You can't.
You don't have control. And everybody, when they're driving, you can see what's in front of you. You can control where the car is going. But when you're in a plane, you're relying on somebody else to fly. Plus, you're in 3 dimensions. So not only are you going forward, back, left, and right, but you're going up and down. And so your body is going, whoa, this is a little different. I'm not used to this. And then you can't see where you're going. You can see out to the left or the right, but you can't really see what's in front of you, so you can't anticipate.
Yeah.
So you can't see, oh, we're going to start down or we're climbing or there's something moving across us in the front of us. And so it's that sense of unknown that kind of makes people uneasy.
Yeah. So, but you're not afraid of flying, are you?
No.
Have you ever been a little bit fearful in the plane? Or was that more when you were in the Air Force?
That was probably more when I was in the Air Force. And it wasn't that I was fearful. It was just that the situations I was in, we got into some kind of hairy situations every now and then.
Very interesting. Now, no other fun travel stories? Nothing crazy?
Well, I've heard
just
of
a
stories.
little electrodes here?
We were actually, when we were flying to Frankfurt a couple of weeks ago, it was nighttime. It was very dark, and we were going across the North Atlantic, and you could see this string of lights that looked like satellites, but they were all right next to each other, and they're very bright. And it turned out there was about 46 to 50 satellites being released by, what's his name? The guy who started
Elon
Tesla.
Musk?
Elon Musk's. SpaceX was releasing all these geosynchronous satellites, I believe I don't know if it was for Wi-Fi coverage basically across the globe.
Very interesting.
It looked like all these UFOs flying across. And
would you go to space if you were offered the chance?
Yeah, in a heartbeat. It'd be fun.
You would know worries about it at all?
No, I think they've knocked all the kinks out of it. They've got a pretty good idea what's going to happen.
Did you ever want to be an astronaut?
I don't think I was ever smart enough to be an astronaut.
That's not true.
I don't think so. I'm not.
Your major was physics.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
What kind of smarts do you need?
Well, you need to be like an astrophysicist or a doctor or somebody who's one of the top people in their field, because they're counting on you to understand what you're. I don't know.
I think you
do
could
these
do
experiments.
it. I think you could do it. I think you're underestimating yourself.
Yeah.
Now, gotta ask you a real question here.
What's that?
One people have been wondering.
Okay.
Are aliens real?
Well,
Area 51.
Area 51.
What do you know about it?
I've flown by it. I've never flown over it.
Do they allow you to fly over it?
No, it is. There's a. It's in Nevada, and they have.
So it does
this,
exist.
It does exist, but the area is cordoned off both in the airspace and on the ground.
And how do you see that? So on the map, it literally just has a black box?
It just has a box around it, and it says, it's a no-fly zone. You can't go in there.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
And so, you do not fly over it. You don't fly into it. Now, granted, if you had an emergency, and this happened to some of my friends where they had engine failures or engine fires, and they had to get on the ground, and it's a landing strip, and it's right there. You're not going to pass that up. So they were allowed to land there, but once they got on the ground, they were told to put their heads between their legs.
Stop it.
No, I'm serious. They came to a stop on the runway. They were told to put their heads between their legs.
Were there passengers on their plane?
No, this is in the Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no passengers.
Okay.
So they did that, and they were told, don't look out, don't look up, keep your head down. They came up to the side of the aircraft. They opened the cockpit, and they put bags over their heads essentially, and had them crawl out of the
so crazy.
They had them crawl out of the airplane, and they put them into a windowless van, drove them to some place. No, I'm serious.
They couldn't even look around.
No, not at all. No, they didn't
What's
have clearance.
there?
I don't know.
What do you think is there?
Well, I'm sure it's a test facility for, things that are in the works or things that they already have. And
so how do you get that kind of clearance? Like, if I was just saying, you know what, as I'm growing up, I want to work for Area 51. Is it not that way? They have to recruit you?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
I suppose there's, certain fields where, like, if you're an engineer or you're a test pilot or something like that, that you can apply to work there. And then they could say, oh, okay, we will give you the certain clearances necessary, and you probably sign a million different pieces of.
I'm sure it's one of those recruiting more, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because it seems like that would be so limiting if you only knew somebody or something like that. So they have to be recruiting.
Right. They probably do recruit, or they, there are probably job options that are available to go work there.
Google.com, Area 51.
We're looking for the top guys to work at Area 51. Come on down.
Yeah, that would be you. Would you want to see what's in there?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? That'd be cool. I mean, who knows what kind of things are brewing in there.
Aliens. Aliens are brewing in there.
Maybe, little green guys running around.
I think it's probably impossible that we would be the only life.
I tend to agree with you. There are just so many stars out there with, solar systems, and and galaxies and universes and whole things out there that we have no idea about. That there's got to be something else out there.
Yeah. Now, something else out there. This is sad. My dad is an international pilot. Never really traveled internationally. Few places. I'm not going to act like woe is me.
We didn't want you to come with us.
Woe is me.
It's the bottom line.
How many countries have you been to?
Probably. Let's see. The ones I haven't been to India.
Russia?
I have been to Russia, but I wasn't.
Greece? You've never been to Greece?
I have not been to Greece, no.
I've been to Italy.
I've been to Italy. Haven't been to much of Eastern Europe. So I haven't been to
Istanbul.
I haven't been there.
Turkey, yeah.
So most of the Middle East I haven't. Now I've seen Egypt and I've seen Israel, but that's about it for the Middle East. And I have been to Russia, but I haven't been to like Ukraine or Yugoslavia or Uzbekistan or any of those countries out there, or even Czechoslovakia, or a lot of the Eastern European stuff I haven't seen. I'd like to. It's beautiful out there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says Prague is one of the best
love
places.
To go out there. Love to go.
Yeah. So, but I've never been anywhere.
Yes, well,
few places. Mexico, Canada, and the Bahamas.
Okay. And the Caribbean.
Yeah, the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you've seen...
Canada. Did you say Canada?
I said Canada.
Did you say Canada?
You've seen so much of the world.
Yes.
Tell us what it means to thrive in the wild internationally.
Ooh, that's a tough question.
What do you think is thriving in different cultures? Because not everybody prioritizes the same things that we do. I
think what you see in different cultures, especially like in Europe, they tend to have more time to basically just go out and have a vacation. They get a lot of vacation time. And they tend to really go out, and they tend to be out for a longer period of time. Like if we go on a vacation, it's 4 days, a week maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas you see a lot of people from Europe, they'll go out for 2-3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
So they really get a chance to get to know the area they're going to visit, and really get to explore it and see what the nuances of that place are.
Do you think that's better? It's a better practice?
It's different. I think it's I'd love to be able to do that. It'd be great because, like in an RV, it takes you a while to get wherever you're going. And so in the States, or in like our situation, if you only have a week or maybe 2 weeks, you're traveling for at least
2 days,
50% of that time. Mm-hmm. And that can really, reduce the amount of time you have to kind of just enjoy where you go or what you want to see.
So then why did you want an RV?
Well, because I'm getting closer to retirement. I'm getting more time off as I get more senior. So we can, put the weeks together if we need to. Mm. So if we go out, we can do a lot of the local stuff we can do, on weekends or during the week because we don't have to travel that far. Maybe
live like a local.
Live like a local.
You should put a bumper sticker on your RV. Live like a local.
In Colorado, you can go to so many different state parks. You can go to all these little lakes. You can go everywhere. And most of the places are within 2 to 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Even Mount Rushmore, like I was talking about previously, you can go there from Denver in about 5.5 hours. And it's not going to so it doesn't take you that long to get anywhere. But if we wanted to go to the East Coast and go check out New England and things like that, you're looking at about a 2-3 day drive just to get out there.
That'd be pretty cool to take it out there.
Oh, it'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. Go see the Finger Lakes. Go see, I really want to go up to Maine and go see Bangor, Maine. And
Dax is from Michigan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's been to Mackinac Island.
We'll have to ask him.
I know. Now, you can't take your RV there because there's no motorized vehicles allowed on the island.
At all? Do people live there all the time?
I think so. I think they do. But, you'd ride bikes or, stuff like that.
So where do you like better to travel? Domestic or international?
Well, it depends. There's so much domestically that I'd love to see.
Domestic means inside the United States. Right. Yeah.
You've got the national parks, and I really have not seen a lot of the national parks.
Yeah. When would we have?
We really haven't. But, I'd love to go out and just explore the United States. There's so much to see. Each state is basically a little microcosm of society and different things. You've got the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico, and you've got the mountains of Colorado and Utah and
forests.
Oh my gosh, even going up to Canada, going up to Banff and Lake Louise and seeing the majestic mountains up there are just incredible.
There really isn't another country like America, though, is there, where it's so diverse? And it's... geography?
I don't know. I mean, there are other,
Like Russia's all pretty much the same, right?
No. There's quite a diversity of their, their terrain and what it makes up, between the coastal areas and the tundra and the Siberian area and the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. But I don't know.
I don't know much about international geography.
But I mean, like when we fly over Greenland and Iceland, the mountains are just incredible, and you see these mountains.
Have you been there?
I've flown over it. I've never landed.
Never been to Greenland?
Never been to Greenland.
Have you been
or
to
Iceland.
Denmark?
I've been to Denmark.
I think Denmark, actually, no, Greenland just got top happiest country in the world.
Greenland? I thought it was Finland.
Might have been Finland.
Finland or Denmark.
But I know it's like
maybe.
Greenland, Denmark, Finland.
I thought it was a Scandinavian
They're
country.
all up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty...
but it really is actually fairly easy to get to Iceland from the United States. They have direct flights every day. It's not that... it's like a 5-hour flight. It's not that far.
Now, I'm planning to go to Paris, eventually.
I've heard of Paris.
You've been there.
Okay.
Sometimes he FaceTimes me and he's staying in a hotel room that's literally facing the Eiffel Tower.
I do.
And you
that.
were there when I first fell in love with Paris. You literally painted Je t'aime in my room, and you still have not focused on taking me there. I was 8 years old. I'm 29.
We were going to go when COVID hit and kind of shut everything down, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
No, we were not going to go.
We had plans. I had made hotel reservations.
Had you?
No, I didn't.
So horrible. It's like when you lied to me about Santa.
Hey, Santa
Here's a
and me
great
were close.
story.
We were close.
Here's a great story.
Okay, tell the story.
I don't know how many people still believe in Santa if you're listening. I'm very sorry about this, but, Alex and I, we had to have been about... maybe I'm going to say 10 and 8. Alex was probably 8. And I had already figured out Santa's probably not real. I had found the present that I ended up getting.
Okay. The jig was up.
Yeah, the jig was up. But Alex still believed, and Alex is, very into her imagination.
She is.
And it would be very painful for her to not think that.
Yeah.
Isn't that a painful experience to tell your kids that Santa isn't real? Like, you're a liar, basically, which is what you're telling them?
Pretty much, yeah. It's, and it's like when you discover that the tooth fairy isn't true, and, when you catch your parents putting their hand under your pillow and you swat them in the face as they get close, and it's like, I know what you're up to.
Yeah. Did Alex do that to you? No. That's such an Alex thing. So, anyway, we were, about that age, and we pretty much figured it out, but we had really wanted these skater shoes.
Oh, yeah. The little shoes with the skates built into the sole of the shoe.
Yeah, we were super into those Heelys.
Yes.
And we didn't get them. And it was pretty upsetting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was pretty upsetting experience.
We had to console you a couple of times.
Yeah, bratty children, you could say.
Yeah.
And spoiled, yes. So we're kind of cleaning out the house, or what happened?
What happened was we were just, it was kind of like the next day after Christmas morning, and we were kind of cleaning up, and I looked around and I was looking through a bag that was in the garage, I think it was. And I told Leslie, I go, oh my God, we forgot to give them these presents. And I said, what are we going to do? We can't just come up to them and give them to them. You can't say, oh, Santa left these on the street and we found them and thought, what the heck? Here, we'll bring them home. So what I did is I grabbed a ladder and I climbed on top of the roof.
Same day.
And I
thought this was like an exuberant plan.
No. This was like, oh my God, I've got to do something. And I threw them up by the fireplace, the chimney up on the top of the roof. And then I got back down on the ladder, so that I was like cleaning out the gutters or putting up the lights or something.
Yeah, something Christmassy.
Something very mundane. And I told Liz, I said, okay, you got to get the curls out kind of in the backyard here. So she got them out in the backyard, and I go, oh my God, girls, I think I see something up here. And they started to freak out. They're like, what are you talking about? I think Satan left something on the roof.
What did we do?
You were running around like you saw squirrels or something. It was crazy. You were screaming and you were going, Daddy, what do you see up there? And I said, hold on a second. Let me get up here and take a look. So I climb up on the roof again and I grab the boxes and I hold them up and I go, oh my God, what is this? Santa forgot something up here.
I have a faint memory of this. I have a faint memory of you standing on the roof and me looking up.
And you're looking up. Your eyes are as big as saucers and you're looking up and you're going, I believe. And Leslie is like, Oh, good Lord. What has he done this time?
I think I believe for another year.
I said, yes. I'm good for another year.
That is so funny. And then we were writing those around.
Oh, my God. They were skating through the house, bumping into walls. It was like mayhem all over the place.
Oh, Christmas presents. You get into them.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Why? And is it because of your Jewish descent?
Well, granted, we didn't have the big reveal, the Christmas morning thing, but, we would try to get,
Did
something
somebody
similar.
give you gifts?
Yeah, my parents would give me a gift.
But it's not like anybody like a magical
No,
spirit.
it wasn't like, some guy magic, hey, here's something for you. Enjoy. It was like,
Here's the Jewish Santa.
it's like,
He's wearing
hey,
blue.
Here, this is sort of the same thing. No. But I do remember one time I got this one gift that was probably the most amazing gift I ever got.
What was it?
It was Major Matt Mason. It was a space.
Triple M, baby.
It was, what is it here? Let me look it up real quick. It was amazing. It was like these little spacemen.
What?
And they were so cool. Let's see if I can find it here.
See, I'm starting to now think, we've always thought you might be in the CIA, but maybe now you are an Area 51 person.
Well, that's possible too.
And you're like, oh, this is what happens when they make you land. I had some friends who had to land there.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, that seemed a little bit like you knew too much.
Yes.
And you're like, it was a windowless van. The license plate was...
Major Matt Mason. These little space.
They sell for $300 now.
Well, now they do. If I had kept them in perfect condition, I'd be making bank right now. But yeah, it was the moon suit, and oh my God, these things were so cool. And it was basically right during the the moon program, and these came out, and you had like a little moon suit. You had some moon base you could make with these things, and they had all sorts of different space suits and paraphernalia that would come with them. And they were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. And it was so cool.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. And they had a little walker that had, you put some batteries in it and this thing would walk around like a little moon walker. I can't believe they're selling for this much on eBay right now.
How much now? $199. Yeah. If you guys have a Major Matt Mason out there, you could sell it for $300, $200. I don't know who'd be buying it.
Oh, they were great. They were so much fun.
Different people like my dad, who's definitely more of a nerd. You'd consider yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Nerdy tendencies, but that might help you with Dax too.
Now, one toy that we did have that was about as low tech as you can get. It was called a Flexi Flyer, and it kind of looked like a sled, like an ice sled that you would sit on, but it had wheels, so you could do it on the ground. And
this is when you were a child. At what age?
This was probably between 5 and 16.
Okay.
When I was living in California.
Okay.
And we were on that big hill.
Yeah.
And of course, nobody wore helmets. Nobody wore pads. We didn't know what safety was at the time, and you only stopped doing something when you tore your arms up, or you broke a bone, or you ran into traffic, things like that. And so we would take this Flexi Flyer down the hill, screaming down the hill at just ungodly speeds.
It's probably like it wasn't that fast, but like now. It's like,
yeah, grandma's walking next to you. I'm cruising, baby, It's like,
yeah.
No, but I mean, we were going pretty fast, and you'd try to go around a corner and you'd flip over and sail into the bushes and who knows what else. And oh, that was so much fun.
That's fun.
It was great.
Well, I think this about wraps it up.
Okay.
Great convo.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of short stories told. The exciting thing is that we have something very exciting in the mix.
We do.
We can't say what it is.
We won't say what
yet.
it is, but it's going to be coming, and I think people are going to like it.
We're going to have some other guests.
Yes.
Some other family members.
Yeah, season 2 is going to be amazing.
Season 2 will be amazing. We have some, if you guys like cooking, we have something for you with that. If you just like pop culture, we have something for you with that.
Sure.
If you just like general discussion, we have something for you with that.
Yes, indeed.
So Thrivin in the Wild will be the spot. We'll be coming back for season 2. Jonnyboy will be back.
Better than ever.
Actually, way more thriving.
Still looking for, Mr. Dax Shepard to invite me to go in his RV.
Yeah, by then, you don't know.
We don't know. Who knows what will happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot minute between season 1 and season 2.
It is.
But it's going to make you want it even more.
That's right.
Yeah, because we're coming back with fire.
Can't wait.
Absolutely thriving.
This is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining. Glad you're doing well.
Remember to hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. What else? Leave a review.
Let
us know if you want more Jonnyboy. If you want less, we'll kick him off. We don't care.
They don't like me that much.
He's gone.
I don't know what it is.
We don't care. See you later. And we'll make it happen for you. So Thank you for joining and appreciate the story.
Okay.
Good times with Jonnyboy.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Hi. Are you loving the show? Go find that little subscribe button on your podcast app. This will ensure you won't miss a single episode. Until next time.